somebody has to stop Joe, but nobody stops Joe.
You can't stop Joe.
Nobody stops Joe, bro. And
it's a funny thing that like most serial killers do not get stopped. Like most
How
serial
does he
killers
not get caught, bro? Like I don't even
I don't
get
know.
it.
Like yeah,
isn't it like on some bullshit, bro? Like,
his MO is very much the same, and it's very much people he all knows, and it's like
how is no one noticed?
it is a little weird how nobody notices it's him, you know? And like the ex-girlfriend that like comes back and is like, haha, like I was like, what are you doing? Like, you're about to die. Like,
and so yeah, he thought he killed her. She came back. They got together again, right?
No, she tried to blackmail him and he fucking killed her.
Damn.
So, because that's what he does. He's fucking Jason Voorhees. Like,
yo, bro. And I'm saying, like so I can't like.
People really like underestimate like killers. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you will die if you spend too much time around them. Like, it's like
but they don't even know. But so the girl, what was the blackmail? She knew about a killing?
He tried to kill her. That was the blackmail.
Oh, and he failed. Okay.
Yes.
Damn. Okay. Did no one believe her? Did she not go to the police?
No, she decided that she wanted to blackmail the serial killer.
See, I can't with shows like these, bro. I can't. Like, see, you know, because the white people bullshit just be going too far. And then it's just like, and then you're just sitting there, just like.
Why?
Really? You didn't think, you really thought that was a good idea. You have no means of tracking his whereabouts. Seeing him almost kill you.
Well, she did track him down.
Well, did she even take any sort of defensive measures to keep herself safe?
Nope.
No, I can't do it. No, I can't. Nah. Sorry, I can't do it. I would have gotten
like,
too mad.
You know what the fucked up part is? Is like, he killed her, and it is like, I guess he did it the right way this time. Like, it's just like, like what? Like, the payoff isn't like. Maybe I'm just misremembering it, but like the payoff isn't that great. Like, it's like I knew that was gonna happen, and she's dumb. She's a dumb. like,
bro,
this is wrong.
Oh my god, I can't. That just
that show has a lot to say about relationships, though. Like it does have like it has,
and then it says it in this way. So don't get me wrong. I think it's a very interesting show due to all these factors.
Relationships. It's like
yeah.
You know.
It's just that I'm not watching the antagonist and stupid people all day. I'm not doing it. Sorry. I know y'all want me to, but no.
It's kind of like Death Note.
Okay, true. Except for me, Light still is in one sense protagonist. He just got a tool because his reason for using the Death Note was shaping the world into a better place. I mean, now the fact, and also, well, no, let me not say that. I was going to say technically he's not killing them because the Shinigami's doing it, but like he's the one signing the death warrant. So yeah, I can't say that. He's literally the one. The Shinigami fault. Could be like, no, I was just an instrument. Like I'm literally just an accomplice. I just do all the killing work. But yeah, so it's not the same because Light at least had some altruistic reason. Like he wasn't an evil protagonist. Literally. Like, and it's like, whoa. I know, yeah, right? It's not weird. But he's like Joe is just an antagonist, bro.
No, Light is the antagonist of that show. He's not the protagonist. Like he's just
I just feel like he's lawful evil.
It depends.
He's a lawful evil protagonist.
Does it matter if the protagonist is evil or not? I was told that it doesn't matter by like some people, and I don't know about that. But like
technically, they do have to be like
good.
Yeah,
because Light isn't good. Light is just like an opinionated teenager that got way too much power. Like he just like
it was like I can make this world better. Although the first time he was testing and then he's like, shit, this is real.
Yeah, he's like, oh, fuck.
All right, well, I have this power.
I hate the Netflix version. That is garbage.
I didn't watch it. I didn't bother.
Don't ever watch it. It's
I'm good.
It's cursed.
It's like the Avatar thing that doesn't exist.
The Avatar, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know what you're talking about. Exactly. The James Cameron one?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
It's some other one, but I don't remember it. Because...
Like, you mean like Xbox avatars? Like the little people you could make on Xbox for your profile picture?
Let's just stop while we're ahead.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, if you're just tuning in.
Yeah!
I'm your host, Logan, and this is the Milk and Toast Podcast. I'm here with my best friend, Mitch. Say hi, Pterodactyl Mitch.
Yeah!
Yeah. Hi, guys. If, as always, if you like the show, share the show. If you don't like the show, share it with your enemies. Annoy the shit out of them with the show. Just spam the show to them. Like, make them have to like open the show like 1,000 times so we get like 1,000 streams. Thank you for your service.
God damn it, Milk and Toast.
Yeah. Milk and Toast. Like, just like J. Jonah Jameson's just like shaking his head. I was married. Like, just like, Milk and Toast. Yeah, follow us on everything, like and subscribe.
Do that shit. Do that
and like,
shit.
leave a review. Leave reviews.
Definitely
like,
do that shit.
Yeah, I actually like getting reviews. Like those, that's my favorite shit. Like getting reviews and like actually having you guys actually write something. But 5 stars is nice too.
Leave that shit, nigga.
Yeah, or give us 1 review, 1 star. Like, you know, this show is trash, and tell us that shit. A review is a review. Like, I mean,
right?
Yeah. Anyways, we got a show to do, and we got a show for you.
Anyway, I'm moving on
Mitch,
with my life. Yes.
Let me focus you before you get unfocused. You wanted to talk about esports.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to have that dead silence. I was
damn.
I was like, what the fuck? My fault,
you
y'all.
do that every time.
Not every time, but sometimes I just like to fuck around. Anyway, yeah, esports. I just I'm a gamer. I game a lot, so it was on my mind. I noticed we hadn't talked about it. So, and I noticed that it isn't taken as serious as like traditional physical sports, which is funny. Well, not yet. It's not given it hasn't been around as long, I feel, but it's also just not given that kind of acclaim, even though like some like professional like leagues they'll be paying for like prizes of millions of dollars, you know what I'm saying? But it isn't to the point of like organized as much, but nonetheless, it's really cool. And I feel like it should like be given the respect it deserves and as much respect as traditional sports, because these people put a lot of time in, they put the hours in, just like athletes going to work, you know what I mean? And it does take a lot of skill and focus to get what they do done. And then, of course, you know, their competitions are just as intense, like maybe even more so on some level, because you're dealing with, you know, different kind of concepts in terms of a video game. So, yeah, and like, I just been seeing a lot of stuff because I play a lot of Dota myself and I play a lot of Smash, and those are, you know, competitive games in the esports arena. And then like I play League with some friends sometimes. I play Valorant, which is a first person shooter with friends sometimes.
How competitive is like, I was going to ask how competitive Smash is because like it's cartoons and stuff, you know, but like really? Is that competitive?
Yeah.
What do they usually win for a Smash tournament?
I'm not sure in terms of the prize pool for Smash, actually. Dota, I know the pot had been like, I want to say like $1 million and something one time. But Smash, I'm not sure how big the pots get. Sometimes it might be like just for rankings in terms of the world. But I'm pretty sure like in any like esports arena, some type of prize money is there, even if it's like people buying in and then you like getting a piece of that pot once it's done. But I'm not exactly sure about the biggest Smash tournaments. I just know that it's really, really competitive because I've seen them play and I've watched the some of the tournaments that they have on YouTube and seen players like MK Leo do shit in a game that like you'd be like, what the fuck? Like you could do that character, you know what I'm saying? And he right now is the top ranked like Super Smash Brothers player in the world. And then you'll see people play against him. Like sometimes it doesn't happen, it's rare, but you'll see people beat him. And then he'll come back later in the tournament and like dominate. But they are competitive, bro. You've played with me and you see how I get sometimes.
Yeah, you're very competitive.
Right. And mind you, when I'm playing with you, I'm holding back a little just so, you can improve and it's a little bit fairer and stuff like that. And then sometimes I'll be like, all right, let me hit you with some work because you're getting away with shit right now you should be getting away with, which I also have to do to other friends.
Should I not be getting away with it, or am I just getting away with it because I'm good?
Well, sometimes, sure. Other times, no. Other times you're getting away with it because it's my fault. And it's like I didn't do something I was supposed to do.
But isn't that competition?
No.
Yeah, a little bit. Like
no, how is that competing?
Because it's skill for skill. Like your mistakes are you.
No, they're not me. No. I'm not talking about making mistakes. I'm talking about I purposely when I've played with you or anybody who's newer to the game, I'll purposely not do things. I will purposely not do things.
You're saying you're pulling a punch.
Yes, okay. I'm legit doing that. So it's not like I'm making mistakes.
I'm hitting you while you're pulling a punch.
Now, understand, like it's that, and then there is times when I also do make mistakes, and sure, that one's on me and therefore yours. Yeah. But like there is a balance, and it depends because you've been getting better. Because it started out like I'll just chill, and then being who you are, you're like, all right, I'll figure this out and do this. So like, okay, cool, we can start going a little bit harder now. Yeah, and that's how I do it with everybody until it's like I don't have to do that because the person really knows how to play and understands the game, and then we just play.
Games are like really fun. I love playing that game with you.
Bro, Smash is great, man. That was one of my first ones. I've been around since first generation, since the original 64 copy.
I like fighting games. I like fighting games in general. I like Mortal Kombat. I can't see, this is sacrilegious. I can't say that I like Street Fighter because I've never been good at the controls of Street Fighter.
It's
never,
okay.
ever.
I'm not the biggest fan either. I respect it, but I'm not the biggest fan.
The punishment toward like reward ratio of like Street Fighter is so lopsided. Like there's so much more punishment to be had in Street Fighter than there is reward.
You get fucked up for making a mistake.
Yeah, you get fucked up. I would say even worse than if you play like Super Smash Brothers. Yeah. So like I've never enjoyed, like I can enjoy a Super Smash Brothers game.
It's still because, like a party game and it's fun.
Yeah, it's still kind of like a party game. And like if you play against like 4 people, you lose, but like you lose on some bullshit and like, or like some shit that you feel like you've actually lost with. You lose in a game of Street Fighter, like you lost because you didn't know how to break like 20 combos in under 10 seconds. And then that's why you lost. You know what I mean? Like that's not
like,
fun.
Why didn't you
that's
counter
not
there?
Fair. I mean, the same shit happens in Mortal Kombat, but like the controls are just, to me, they're simpler. Somebody might say different. But I wanted to say that like games are fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what do you think is the gap that doesn't get filled when you say that, like, esports just hasn't, like, bridged the gap as far as, like, traditional sports? Let me say it like that.
Well, I think mostly I mean in terms of, like, recognition. And, like, once again, I don't think it can be helped since, like, esports is, new to the arena. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but... And it's the fact that it's video games because, traditional sport is still, real people doing something real, a real like sport or whatever that people can watch. Whereas there's barriers between a person sitting in front of a screen and watching a game. You know what I mean? I just feel people are more connected to people in that sense. So I think it just is going to take time for people to really adapt to respecting esports to that level of like traditional sport. It's going to take some time. I mean, even like all esport leagues and stuff like that, like, there's sponsors and stuff like that, but they're not to the same level as like a traditional sport or how serious it is. It's not like there's a draft for certain leagues or anything like that. You know what I mean? To build teams, it's kind of like broken up into pieces. Yeah. So I feel like it's just going to take some time. But I feel once like, have you ever heard of augmented reality?
Yeah, like VR.
Yeah, stuff like that. I feel once video games, and at this point, I'm pretty sure it's all headed in that direction, considering the technology that we see in terms of like holograms and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure it's gonna at some point get to that point. And at that point, I think like leagues would be taken serious. Like esports would be like a serious thing.
You know what VR I would love, but they haven't done. And if you hear this podcast and you hear me say this idea, you should pay me for it. But you know what VR I would love? Like would probably make me buy a VR set is fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Yu-Gi-Oh! As a VR. Like I know my nerd card is showing, but like I would play
Time
that.
to
Like
live the show.
especially if like especially if like you had to use your actual cards for it. Woo-wee!
Got the
Like
dual disc.
like and actually like sent the hologram up and it was augmented into the room and stuff like they do with Pokemon Go. Like that shit. Like I would like see. Okay, I feel like this is part of the reason why video games don't take off the way like gamers think they should is because there's like two gaps. There's not one gap to bridge. There's two. There's the gap between what like the normal person and consumer and like competitive gaming and like translating that into something that is, you know, edible and like consumable for like the mass audience. Like there is something wrong there, right? But there's also like a gap between like hardcore gamers and just fucking games. You know what I mean? Like hardcore gamers don't consider phone games real games, but phone games make up like like a massive
I know, like a
part
massive amount of like
of the video game market. Like they make up like so much money. Like all the fucking like whatchamacallit, like ads and stuff that they sell on phone games, all of the different bonus things and features that you can buy off of phone games.
Shout
and
out
stuff
Candy
like that.
Crush.
Like Candy Crush and stuff. It's like that makes so much money, yet because it lacks respect in like that gaming sphere, you know what I mean? Like it yeah, she just is doing her thing right now. Okay. Mitch's cat. But like in that gaming sphere, like by actual gamers, there's that gap between gamers and people who are just consumers of games. And those people are the people you need to watch you game. So if you're shitting on that, you know, there's that block in association, you know what I mean? And then on the other side, it's like I do feel like it's hard to like consume like competitive gaming because I feel like a lot of like outlets, like media outlets, when they like try to like describe competitive gaming, like they describe like Dota, like they go straight to games like Dota, right? And that's because Dota makes so much money in like tournaments. Like they make millions of dollars in like Dota tournaments, right? But when you look at a Dota screen and you've never played Dota before and you don't know what you're looking, you're like, what the fuck is this?
There's a disconnect.
Like, it's like you just see a bunch of circles and a bunch of like pops of color and you don't know. It looks like a mess. It looks like...
No, I was going to get into that as well because the other reasoning is people just are unfamiliar with the gaming culture in certain games and maybe not as interested. So that's the other thing. So my hope is, you know, like things change because there are a lot of people who just really don't relate to video games.
Like Mortal Kombat tournaments, I watch online. Like I watch like those, maybe not live. Like I don't know when like the next one is coming up or whatever. But I watch them. I watch them on like whatchamacallit, like YouTube and stuff. And like I can watch a couple of those back to back. Like they're very entertaining because they're shot well. First of all, because like Mortal Kombat itself is kind of made for that. You know, like it's not made for just like playing as a tournament. It's made for the tournament view. Like if you play, like there's a game mode when you play Mortal Kombat called King of the Hill. And so when you play that game mode, like I like to play like ranked matches, like on Mortal Kombat. So like when you play that, there's a theater mode. And that means that like instead of just watching like everybody, like instead of watching it on a smaller screen, which you can do and it shows like everybody like who's in the chat or whatever, you can put it in theater mode and it just shows the whole screen. And so like actual Mortal Kombat tournaments, they do something similar, which is like they show you the people who are playing, but then they also just show you the video game. You know what I mean? And they kind of break it down to you as if you're like watching like a fucking UFC fight. You know what I mean? And like the announcers are kind of announcing it the exact same way. They're like, they say like the moves that are involved, but also they like they announce it as like the moves that the players themselves are using, like a backstep or whatever. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Like they translate it for like
No,
the
yeah,
people
yeah.
who are
And
watching.
that happens in a lot, as it should. That happens in a lot
Yeah.
of leagues because you want someone there casting, just like a telecast at like a football game or anything.
Yeah,
You want someone
exactly.
there explaining what's going on. So, but yeah, I really think it's because people are going to be unfamiliar and like, you know, some people just don't take video games seriously, even though they don't, because they don't it's like people watch traditional sports because, you know, they like them, they enjoy them, they think on some level they're fun. It's like you were saying, yo, games are fun. I'm not sure as many people connect with video games as fun because I don't know. Maybe there's just like some stigma about it only being gaming being for children, which is a big thing.
Yeah, that's a
you know
big
what
thing.
I mean?
Yeah.
Especially before the like 2000s, you know what I mean? If you were playing video games, it was for kids. And as you got older, you had to stop gaming. You had to get a job and all this. So and that's huge. That's a big disconnect between, you know, adult audiences that are, you know, forming the norms and trends and stuff that we all kind of like abide by sometimes. And like, they're really disconnected, so they don't connect to what the game is, whether it be like Dota and understanding it means defense of the ancients, and you know that it's like influenced by like Warcraft, World of Warcraft world stuff and lore like that. And so they don't know what the characters do because they haven't been playing, because they've been working, and in the spare time they don't play games because that's for kids. So it's just like a disconnect.
If Dota was like a mobile game, like a mobilized game, like that was accessible, like piecemeal, that would be a boon for the industry. I think
there are MOBAs on the phone though, like because people have done that. They have made games. I don't know how popular they are. A really popular one I played was called Vainglory. But there have been some games like that on the phone, and I think it's been helping the effort, you know. Like a lot more people are growing up and accepting like certain things you liked as children, you don't necessarily have to grow out of if it makes you happy, if you enjoy it. Like enjoy that shit. You're an adult, which means you get to do what you want. So enjoying the things you like is something you get to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you know, that's not how it's always been. So things are changing, and I want to say definitely, you know, another like 20 or so like years, it's going to be taken just as serious, especially once we get into like augmented reality technology, whenever the heck that happens. It's going to have a big effect in terms of the esports arena and how it's viewed globally.
I feel like one hand kind of washes the other. I think I think VR really needs to just jump to like esports, to be honest. Like, no, for real. I feel like if VR jumped to like, at first it needs to get a little better, but like it just jumped to like the esports arena where like you had like massive like virtual reality type tournaments where like people are like dueling or whatever, like like virtual reality fencing or sword like swashbuckling or some shit. You know what I mean? Like that would be like, and then like you see it on screen that like, hey, these people, this is how they're fighting and stuff, and like he chopped this guy's arm off in the video game, but like, you know, in real life, you know what I mean? Like that would be like some shit that like if you televised it, like, oh wow, what the hell is this shit? You know what I mean? Like it's just like people like new shit. Like people like remember fucking BattleBots?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that had a thing for a while. Like I think it came back, but I don't know how popular it is right now. But like
it has, like it never really went anywhere. Just people stopped televising it on certain places. So
yeah, but like there was a time where like it was like that was the thing. Like
yeah,
it was
BattleBots was pretty popular. I forget about that era. There was like you was like, oh shit, what's going on there?
Yeah, right.
You know, people just built some, you know, metal bots.
That was like, I feel like there was a golden age for like game shows, and like it was just like they had like certain game shows that were just, they had just like all the game shows. Like it was like, let's watch these robots fight. Let's watch, you know, all this other shit that happens. And it's just like, I don't know. I really like that era because I love game shows. Like I like watching anything that's like people being competitive, you know? Okay. But like they have to like, I think gaming just needs to accept more normies, and more normies need to accept more gamers. Like it's just like, there's, like maybe I don't know who needs to start what first, but like it has to start somewhere, because like otherwise that growth isn't there. I feel like people like Ninja are like the household names, you know what I mean, in a way,
Stuff like
because
that,
like
right.
they're like, oh my god, here's this kid, he's like 20 something years old, he makes millions of dollars because he plays that Fortnite game. Maybe you should go play that Fortnite game, Billy. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like it's
Right.
like that's a real thing. That's a real shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah,
So.
that's enough about esports.
Oh, okay.
And that's the report on esports. Logan,
the
report.
Yeah. What should we talk about next? Oh yeah. So for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about this idea of, not really the idea. We've been talking about. We've been talking about like people like Samuel. What's his name? Not
Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels. Thank you, Kevin Samuels. And like, I just think like the types of ideas that like he pushes forward, and like I had said a couple of weeks ago that like, you know, one of the things that I wish I would have done instead of just talking about like how much of a sucker Kevin Samuels is, like talked about like why and what we should do better, you know? And
that's a tough one.
Well, no, not really. Because okay, I was watching, I forget.
Well, wait, that's not why I said that. I said it's a tough one, but the reason I said that is because like all Kevin Samuels is a dude with a microphone, you know, streaming onto social media, and people are paying attention. So that's what I mean, because it's like, it's
careful how you're sitting, because like you echo when you sit like that.
Because it's like,
I mean, you can relax. You just gotta
I was just trying to relax. Yeah. But so like, because you know,
there you go.
What can you really do? It's spectacle. People are always gonna watch spectacle. So it's like, if you were to ask me, you know, how to do better, well, it'd have to be with the people who are paying, you know, certain content mind. But who am I to tell someone what content to enjoy? Is why I was like, that's tough. Because, you know, if someone wants to listen to Kevin Samuels, even though I don't agree with the subject material, you don't, if they do, or even if they don't, but they want to listen to it anyway for whatever reason, like, I don't have the means to stop them.
My thing has always been is that, like, I'm with you 100%, is that, like, for whatever ill or vice in the world, there has to be an alternative, you know? Like, you can't necessarily stop things anymore. Like, it is what it is. It's going to be what it is going to be. Like, Kevin Samuels was who he was. Like, Umar Johnson is who he is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these dudes, they are what they are, and they you're not gonna out toxic them, or like, you know, tell them that like they can't be this anymore, and they're gonna be like, you know what, I really had to change your heart. Like, not everybody's Don Lemon, you know what I mean? And like, that's just that. But like, what you can be is, you can be the alternative, and you can give people a choice. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have Kevin Samuels on your podcast, or people like him, because there's like, for one Kevin Samuels, there's like way more just like him, because that's a fucking market. That's an economy unto itself. Like, that type of ideology is a grift. It's way people make money online by just like perpetuating our worst evils, like the things we think about each other, and how we feel about each other, and how and like, that's what that is. It's a manifestation of that, you know? Like, the people like that, like, say like things like there's a difference between like high value men and low value men and all this and that. Like, these like concepts that they've made up and stuff, that's just like a manifestation of like things we already think about ourselves in the negative. You know what I mean? Not
That's
things
why people believe in it and try to. Man, it's so stupid. No, well, let me not just say it like that and then trail off. It's just that that's why people will pay that content attention, because they're feeling insecure and they know that, like, I'm thinking negatively of myself, but they feel insecure. And then someone comes on and changes the tone a little bit. And all of a sudden they're like, is that person right?
But that's what I would like to have happen at the very least, is that there's a question that, like, there's a question involved. I got into an argument with somebody recently because I don't know if I should say the story or not, but like they don't listen to the show. What?
Do it. No, I was saying do it.
Oh, okay. You're egging me on. But no, like I got into an argument with somebody recently about whether or not me and Sarah own each other.
Oh.
Like, it was weird. It was a weird little argument. It was a weird little back and forth, right?
Why? Weird.
And he was like, yeah, like, you own your woman. Like, you own your wife. And, like, your wife owns you. And I was like, what the fuck? No. Usually I'm not so vocal, like, with just, like, randoms on the street or whatever. But I was like, no, I don't.
Logan was like, I have been personally assaulted.
I was like, I got time today.
Right.
But I was like, no, I do not. I don't own my girl, and my girl doesn't own me. And then I was like, first of all, I'm not married. So, you know. And it's not because, like, I don't want to be. Like, you know, Sarah doesn't want to marry me. So, you know, I'm just putting that business out there. But like, yes. I don't want. Well, I didn't want to say I'm not married and be like I'm the problem.
No, I'm just playing the person along with our audience who just like looks away and is
yes,
like,
thank you. No, you do that well. You do that very well. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But like, no, I told him like, no, I don't. That's some toxic shit. Like, I don't. And it's like, well, you know. They mentioned Steve Harvey, like, you know, and this is where they got the idea from. Don't laugh, please.
Sorry, I just saw us. I have nothing
this is
against
where this
Steve
person's
Harvey.
at. Like, don't laugh at it.
Funny.
No, we're not here to ridicule. This is I'm not making an example to like ridicule this person. I'm making an example to say that like this is the thinking that gets perpetuated out there. This person genuinely grabbed onto this idea, and it made sense in their world until it was challenged. And maybe they don't like me anymore, but maybe it still gets challenged. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just like, I didn't just say that I just didn't own Sarah. I said that, you know, what would be the value in my love for my significant other if I owned them or if they owned me? Right.
Ooh, that's a good way of thinking. Oh, look at you. Oh, that's really pretty and romantic.
I'm pretty romantic. I'm pretty romantic.
Okay, Logan. We come here to try to be our genuine selves and be honest. You can't just lie to the people like that.
I am very romantic. Shut the fuck up. Anyways.
Okay, somebody can't take a joke.
Anyways. No, just trying to shit on my romance cred out here. Anyways. No, what I was saying is that, like, no, like, I told them, I said, what is the value? Right? If I'm owned by you and my love is owed to you, like, what is the value of that? Like, if I don't have any escape, if I don't have any option not to love you, not to be with you, you just fucking own me. Now I'm stuck with you. I'm supposed to be here with you.
Really real.
Is that me, or is that this thing that we've put in place? Like, how do I choose you? Like, I don't.
You're not choosing. She owns you.
She owns me. I don't get to choose.
There is
anymore.
you're owned. You're not
exactly.
You're not feeling anything at all. You're an object at this point.
I could have said nothing. And I don't know, maybe I should have. I don't know. Because it's like, you know.
Maybe some was on your heart. Maybe he was having a day. Maybe Mercury was in retrograde. I don't know, bro.
Or maybe I was supposed to say something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But like, I was thinking that like, that's the same thing. That's the same thing as, you know, the Kevin Samuels thing is like, we just have to be an alternative. We can't say that like the best thing to come out of Kevin Samuels was at the time there were people who were willing to be that alternative. Like it's not whether or not he once and occasionally said something that may have been true. You know what I mean? That's not the best thing about Kevin Samuels. The best thing about Kevin Samuels is that like the same thing that's the best thing about Trump is that like there's people out there that are like good enough to stand up and be like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I say all that because what I wanted to talk about was like the idea of like high value men and high value women. And this idea that keeps getting perpetuated that like if you don't make a certain amount of money, if you aren't like this certain body shape, if you're a woman, if like you're not this or you're not that, your value somehow decreases in the world and like you're not a valuable person. You know, that you lack value. You know what I mean? To the point where we've got these idiots running around saying you're a low value person. You know what I mean? And or like you'll never get a high value man. That's the one I keep hearing all the time because this content is really aimed towards men a lot of the time.
Right.
And so because of that, it's aimed at women in the negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Saying that you won't be able to afford a man that's like this. And where the broken clock aspect comes in is that most men will be like, well, I'm high value. And then like the person professing that will be like, no, you're not high value either because you don't make such and such amount of money. You don't make $2 million a year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you don't make whatever number their little fuzzy brain comes up with. You don't fucking make it. And like, you can't support this many people and you can't do this and you can't do that. And it's like,
you know why that really bothers me though?
Why?
The reason it really, hear me out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can accept the reality. So if I'm broke, I'm broke. Fact of the matter is, whatever income bracket I'm in. Cool. It's just the fact that people really, and this is always the same. I've told you this before. It's just the fact that people really value, you know, objects and stuff like that above people. And I don't mean that in the sense of like your personal belongings. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just the fact that we really think in that capacity, and therefore that's why people actually like believe that shit. It's because it's like you can't accept the fact that even if someone's not doing their best right now, that doesn't mean they should have a horrible life, and that there's still value within them, and you should try and, you know, foster that, help them do better. But instead, and that's why I hate it the most. Or
not even do that, but just that human life itself is valuable.
It's valuable, right?
They have a value to themselves. Like that's just priceless.
Because human life is priceless. And that's another thing I say all the time. The people are like, oh, how much do you think you're worth? And it's like, it's a stupid question. I'm not everything. Bitch, the fuck are you talking about? I'm a living, breathing miracle walking the fucking planet. And it's the fact that we lose that sense of ourselves that really pisses me off. And then you have these people literally putting you down. It's like, just because a person isn't where this version of society says they should be, doesn't mean that they matter any less. You know, we're supposed to help people, not laugh at them, point fingers, make it worse, is what really pisses me off. Because it's like, sure, when I look at my current conditions in life, I don't really like it too often. And there are many reasons for that don't just involve myself, but we're not going to get into that right now. But the point is, when I look at my surroundings, I don't necessarily like them, but that doesn't mean I'm necessarily a horrible person.
Right.
That doesn't mean I'm not trying my best to do better. That doesn't mean I don't have the potential to do better. And so the fact that anybody could think in terms of a human life being worthless or expendable is just so asinine to me.
Or unworthy of like love, or
care, I hate unworthy of
or
anything.
Like a relationship or like anything. Like just because of somebody, like you said, their current circumstance. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit.
No, yeah, it's all bullshit.
You know what I mean? And it's just stuff that people get caught up with because they are also desperate for love and care and attention, and they need something because we're human. We need something to grab onto. We need something to be like, hey, what is going on and why don't I get it? We need always something to rationalize things and put into a good logical framework for ourselves to be like, hey, what is it that I need to be doing that I'm doing wrong? Because I keep falling for men that don't love me, and I keep getting with women that I believe that I don't even know, But like whatever that is, whatever negative aspect of it is, like these people are desperate for an answer, And so like sometimes you can be so desperate for an answer that you take an answer. You know what I mean? Like this is the same shit that happens in the church a lot of the time, is that, people be going through it. Like they're really, really going through it, and their life lacks the type of direction that like any type of direction would set you up. So like any type of stability would set you up. So like a church life can be very stable. You know what I mean? But it ends up turning people into very judgy people sometimes, because the church judges a lot when it's not supposed to, and where it's not supposed to,
right?
And does it anyways. And so you become the judgy person because you're told that's how you're supposed to be good. That's how you're supposed to be, so that you're not who you used to be. Like you have to hate not only yourself for being that way and try your best not to be that way, but you have to hate other people who are also that way, when there is no doctrine like that. The doctrine actually tells you to love everybody despite how they are.
Yeah. Unfortunately for you.
And not only despite how they are, but despite how you are, which means you are also called to love yourself.
Right.
So that like sometimes we're just not thinking where something comes from, because we don't think about the negativity that it supposes. Like it doesn't add to anybody's life. It doesn't add any value to anybody's life. It doesn't add any value to be like, oh, this person is overweight, so
to shame
low value woman. Like, you know what I mean?
It's so I don't understand how people can embrace any aspect of a culture that kind of condones you being negative to someone around you. That to be negative is such an ugly energy.
Because in all fairness, the culture is negative.
That's
true. Know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Like we do. It's not like I'm not trying to be pie in the sky here either. I do know it comes from something. Right. Like if you're overweight, the world doesn't treat you well because you're overweight. That is the problem. That's not your answer to anything. And with this high value, low value thing supposes is that is your answer. The reason why you're not loved is because we have a problem with fat people, and you're fat, and you're an asshole for being fat. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, that's not really what that means. And there are plenty of people who actually love fat people, so much so that this is a good time to be a little thicker. You know what I mean? Like it's like the fucking like audacity of like these like type of like I don't know, lifestyle type people to like say that like it's not a good time to be fat. Like when like we got like Lizzo isn't my cup of tea, and not not because she's big, but just like she's not my cup of tea. But like people are like drooling over Lizzo right now. Like this isn't like if there's any time to be fat, like it is now. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is not like tiny people time. Like, you know what I mean? Like I
don't know why.
Like my stock is very low right now. Like I'm not up. Like, so it's like, and it's also a great time for like body positivity, and like they'll say that that's like a pipe dream. You know what I mean? They say that like, oh, people that push that, they want you to be unhealthy, or they don't really believe that, and blah 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 blah. But the fucking fact of the matter still stands that like that's not what's gonna keep you from being loved. You know what's gonna keep you from being loved? Being an asshole. If that. True. Sometimes that's not enough. And if being a dick isn't enough to keep you from being loved, think about that. That there's really nothing you can do to keep yourself from being loved when somebody loves you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a very funny statement, but yeah.
I mean, Kevin Samuels himself got married twice. I mean, he tricked 2 women, but like, you know, there you go.
I didn't know that at all. But anyway, carry on.
I'm just saying. Is that like I think we need to do better by ourselves and about how we talk about each other, because a lot of how we're talking about each other is how we are actually subconsciously talking about ourselves. Like if you have a problem with fat people, it's more or less because you have a problem with your own weight, no matter how big or small you are. Like you have your own insecurities about weight. You have your own insecurities about maybe you like bigger people. And you have an insecurity about how people would look at you about that. You know? And that's
start to feel shame for no reason.
That's not right. It's not a right thing. But we can't lean into hate because we're not feeling well. You know, you can't lean into negativity because negativity exists. Like that's what the gospel of like Fresh and Fit and Kevin Samuels and Tariq Nasheed and all these other motherfuckers. That's what the gospel of that is that this is how the world is. So this is what we have to be because of the world. I don't believe that. That's not how that works.
Right.
If the world is fucked up, you don't also become fucked up.
Right.
If the world is fucked up, then you need to be a beacon of light and love and be like, and stand up to that shit and be like, that's not right. And if you can't do that, find the people who are doing that. Like find the people. Yeah, don't find, like if you're big, don't find the people who hate you because you're big. Find the people who love you. Search for love. Don't search, like it's so easy to search for negativity and search for the people who hate us. You know? Like hate is cheap. It's so cheap. Love is what's expensive. It's not going to come because your man's got a certain amount of zeros in his bank account. You know what I mean? And that's not to say that you shouldn't be taken care of or that if you want to have a certain lifestyle, you shouldn't have that. You know, if you wanted to date somebody of a certain lifestyle, that you shouldn't have that. But this idea that, oh, I'm going to have this certain lifestyle because like I'm going to be the most submissive person to some rich asshole and that's how I'm going to get everything. There's plenty of people who thought that. You thought we're just now discovering that this in 2022 in the year of our Lord, this is what we're discovering? You thought we just invented the wheel on that? This people like I don't know, like people have been getting divorces forever because of that. Yeah. Because of that thinking there. They couldn't keep it together. You can't do it either. It doesn't matter how many Little House on the Prairie dresses you wear. It don't matter. They still treat you like shit. You could be cleaning their whole fucking house. It doesn't matter. And for some people, it does work. Some people want to be a housewife. I don't knock anybody like that. Some people want, but like to be like, oh yeah, now I finally got like a high value man. Like if you got lucky enough to find somebody who like makes a good living and wants to take care of you with that living and they actually love you, yes, good for you. But that's no need to look down on other people and be like, well, you bitches will never get this because you don't like to be submissive to your man. It's like, what the fuck?
It's like, damn, all right.
Like, damn, all of that?
Damn, I'm glad you happy, but goddamn.
Like, shit.
What I do to you, LMA?
Yeah.
I don't know why she was LMA.
I don't know why you bring LMA. Exactly. I second the sentiment. Like what did we do to you? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you're good. Why don't you hope other people are good? But it's like we said, the culture is negative.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Ukraine? It's because I've been thinking about it a little bit.
Okay. Yes.
We don't have to go too long. We don't have to go
All
too
right.
long. So,
No. I'm coming down on the soapbox.
yeah,
I
you
kept
get
it
down.
nice
Just
and
take your time.
I kept
Get
it
down.
nice and warm. Now you could go up there.
Okay. So, well, first things first. I want to say a few words. I haven't been checking in as recently in the Ukraine crisis. I hope
Same.
Ukraine is coming out better for wear. Obviously, I don't want Russia to take over the country. Ukraine to be stable again. I hope and pray that the people are doing well. And I also have another thing to say, which is that I want Ukraine to be given $90 billion. And that's why I'm upset. Like,
Okay.
I want them to have the money. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like, I want them to have the money. That's why I'm upset.
Back
and
up. You you're my passionate friend because you went to the meat of the topic, but you didn't give us the appetizer.
I was going to. You want to interrupt?
Don't like cart before horse, like horse. Then cart then horse.
It's my spiel, man. I'm doing it the way I want to.
Okay.
No. But no, it's just I say that because it's like, because what I'm about to say next is going to make it sound like anti-Ukraine, and it's like I'm not. It's just I am in some senses anti-US government for decisions that they make, but it's like for me it's not about. So here's my thing. We sent Ukraine $90 billion. Obviously, they're at war. It's understandable why they would need such an amount. I mean, it's understandable that they would need money in the first place, or assistance and help.
Yes.
But we have billion-dollar problems at home that it seems like we just don't even do anything about. Yet, at the drop of a dime, we send over money as if. And it's when I see the stories that, on the news, it's just like, wow, do they do that shit on purpose just to say fuck you? You know what I'm saying? It's like, is this just a giant fuck you because you don't care, or you don't really care about the people? And mind you, I'm not even saying not to have sent Ukraine money. It's just like, you couldn't have sent maybe 45 billion. You couldn't send 1 billion. I mean, there's lots of help coming from multiple places to the Ukraine, rightfully so, as should be. And so, but for me, when I look at it, I'm just like, it's just like, wow. You're just like, wow. So that's why I say this, like, but otherwise, when I say like, I want them to have the money and that's why I'm upset, it's because we should be in a position, a country anywhere should be in a position where they're taking care of themselves so well, helping somebody else should be just like, simple, easy. It should be easy to send a large amount of money because your people in the country are doing so well and would want you to do that in the first place. But I don't exist in that world. I wished upon a star since I was a child that I wished in such a world, but I don't. So when I see shit like this, it's just like an exasperated sigh, because it's like, of course I want Ukraine receiving help. It hurts a little bit when you look at your government that hasn't been dealing with any of the problems you're literally personally dealing with, and then other people are dealing with, and then like go directly to another problem as if there's nothing wrong at home whatsoever. Is the issue for me.
Yeah, it's tough. No, I get what you're saying. Did you want me to comment or?
Oh, I didn't know. I'm surprised you don't really want to, but
no, it's not. I don't. I didn't know.
No, yeah, I don't, and it's a tough one for me to say because it's like I want Ukraine to receive assistance. I want them to be okay. It's just like it's such a large amount, which I guess even when we're talking governments, it's just a large fucking amount of money. You know what I mean? And what's up? Yeah. What's on your mind? No, you can go. Yeah, you look like you want to. What's up with you, bro? You want to say something?
I want to say something, but I wanted you to be on your soapbox. I was like, well, anyways. No, I get it. I do. I get what people mean when they say things like that. I feel like, though, like, Ukraine isn't the problem. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Of course they're not the problem.
No, they're not the problem.
Oh my
But
God.
I feel like also like it kind of makes them a problem a little bit because it's like, if not them, who would get the 90 billion? When that's really not, well, to me, that's not really the question. It's not a question of, you know, if not give $90 billion to Ukraine, where should we put $90 billion? It's like, if you need to give $90 billion to Ukraine, you should have done that. But like, also, if like you needed to give like $45 billion alongside the $90 billion you was given to Ukraine to like the homeless problem or something like that, you should have also done that as well. You know what I mean? And
speaking of homeless problems, because well, of course I want Ukraine to be okay. And the reason I tell that to America is because over the weekend I had to help a friend and we're trying to see what homeless services are like. Now, mind you,
shitty.
I'm not trying to be like, yo, I'm not a free handout type of dude, but obviously there are circumstances out of people's control and there should be some type of assistance to help people get back on track, no matter where you live. And so you look, and I'm looking at homeless services in New York City, mind you, and I'm just like, oh, wow, this looks like it could use some resources. You know what I mean? When we look at education in our country, we go, this looks like it could use some resources. When we look at healthcare in our country and our infrastructure, we all astoundingly have to go, hey, this looks like it could use some resources.
Yeah.
But then for some reason, resources go other places. You know what I mean? And it's not even that I have a problem with assistance being given. It's just that, like, why is it you so ready to help elsewhere, but it's a problem to help where you
see
at?
When you say it like that, it makes it sound like you have a problem with where the resources are going. See,
but I don't, because it's, well, no, I do have a problem with where the resources are going. I don't have a problem with people outside, you know, of the country in terms of this example, because it's not exactly anyone's fault. And mind you, I'm still not even saying America don't assist Ukraine. Right. It's not even like I'm saying don't send aid, don't send money, because I want America to do that. It's just as I see what they're doing, it's like, okay, because that was a really large amount of aid. And it's just like, okay, cool, because they're at war. That makes sense. But then you still have to look back at where you're at. And it's like, okay, so they're dealing with something and we're understanding why they need those resources. That rule doesn't change once we leave Ukraine. You feel me? We understand why a place going through hard times or dealing with issues will need resources. So
well,
it's just
okay. Well, the Ukrainian conflict isn't just about, like, you know.
Yes, I know people want to get into the political aspect of it.
There is it is all political.
There is.
You know what I mean?
There is. Absolutely.
Like, the political aspect of it is that this has so much more to do with power and wealth and positions and blah 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 blah, blah between like rich billionaire countries and oligarchs and all these different types of things. Like, you know, like Vladimir Putin is a fucking billionaire. You know what I mean? Like, probably a trillionaire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like maybe.
And he runs a country full of oligarchs with all of their hands in the pot. And this is about power. You know what I mean? Like, the idea, which no matter what side of this thing that you fall on, like, because I like chastise people that are like pro-Russia about the whole thing, is that like, it's the whole thing is about power. Whether it's fucking the Russians trying to take over Ukraine or the Ukrainians and other like NATO countries like sending them aid, like the whole thing is about power. You know what I mean? Like, it's, if the Russians succeed, then the position that they gain in the world, or like even the ideological position that they gain in the world, which is that, like, one, they can take over a country that threatens to be a part of NATO. And because there's two other countries named Sweden and Finland that just did the same potentially they could try to do the same to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
All for a position of where they want to put their nukes, just the same way. Like, which some people would say is a ridiculous argument because all of those countries are like super close to each other anyways. But like to them, I guess the inches matter. You know what I mean? So whatever. Like, I don't fully understand it. I don't pretend to fully understand it. But at the same time, that is what that is. That's a different type of thing. Like, there is a need there, at least, I guess, from... I don't want to get into it. My point is that if 90 billion, like I said before, if 90 billion is the number that needed to help Ukraine, and if we actually feel for Ukraine and like we feel for the people who can't even leave the country because they say like, well, yeah, we're going to leave an evacuation channel for you to like evacuate, and they still bomb that channel anyways. You know what I mean? It's like, then that's what's needed. You know what I mean? For better or worse, whether it's to keep the war fighting or to like get innocents out, like that's what's needed. Your point is a good point because like you're like, well, where are the resources?
In terms of what you're saying, I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. It's sad if that is the case, but it is what it is. Your point saying that, there needs to be resources here at home. You're right. You're completely right. It's just the framing that why are you giving the money to these people who are in dire straits when we have dire straits at home? Is like dire straits is dire straits anywhere. It's just that we need we need money here at home. We need resources here at home. Dire straits everywhere. Yeah,
bro. It's like
that's some good shit to say, bro. That's a good little phrase.
Thanks.
Dire straits is dire straits everywhere, bro.
Yeah, it's like
they are. Sad tell.
Yeah, it's like if I'm dried up over here, you dried over there. It's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like if you I can't bemoan help.
Right. You know what I mean? You know what I really think I'm saying? Because especially off the point of like, if that's what they needed, give that to them. It's like what I'm really saying is like, oh, it's like, good America, good on you for helping them. Keep helping people.
I think that's what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you hear me. You hear me.
Yeah.
Keep 90. Oh, you think that's what they're worth? That's great because seems to me they deserve that. Keep giving people what they deserve.
But
keep helping people.
Also on my PowerPoint is that my point about power, whatever, is that
I thought you were just anyway.
No,
never mind.
I was not. No, I'm not like that. Anyway, so like
I was like, what?
Is that anti-poverty work not being done is about power in like not just New York, but in America too. Like making sure that people don't have certain resources and access because there's a collective social consciousness about what those people look like. Black is why those resources don't get allocated to those people. You know what I mean?
Right. Which is where the conversation unfortunately goes next. Unfortunately, in one sense, because it's like we know about the Ukrainian refugee crisis, yet we had at least two of them right before with, Asian people and Lebanese people.
Yep.
I don't recall them receiving assistance. Didn't we talk about you supposed to be helping people?
Nope.
We had this conversation. Oh, we didn't have this. Well, yeah, you're supposed to be helping people.
Right.
All of them, like you said, because don't y'all say all lives matter? Isn't that what they say over there? All lives matter? What is some bullshit like that?
Well, you gotta consider a life to be a life first, not just 3/5 of a life.
Right, not just 3/5. Right. Which is where unfortunately the conversation goes next, and it makes me sad because it's just like you said. You're like, it makes it sound like you're against Ukraine, and it's like and it's just like damn. But because at the end of the day, fact
because
is
we
want
can't use
Ukraine to come
other
on
people's
top.
suffering
Exactly,
and
as
alleviation of
the
that
platform,
suffering,
you know what I mean?
The platform of why, as how we get more, like it's like a
crab
in a barrel
it's absolute,
type thing,
absolute. And I honestly think it's disgusting on some level, of course. But it's just that like we can't deny the obvious visible points that are here.
Yes.
And it feels so bad because it's like you just want everybody to be good at the end of the day is what you're really saying. You want everybody to be good, but you notice things.
Right.
You notice things and you're like, this isn't cool.
No,
and so you have to
cool.
speak to that. It's not cool because you're right. Yeah. The lives you consider lives. Who gets help? Who decides what goes where? And that's what really sucks. And that's why it's really disgusting.
But Mitch, even in this conversation, like you say that like you aren't the type of person to give a handout, right? But that comes from this too.
I feel you.
That idea of who is worthy and who is unworthy, who is desirable and who is undesirable. When a person, whether they be a stranger or a person is in a shitty situation, it isn't a fucking shitty situation. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I told somebody this the other day and they weren't too thrilled about it, but like, I feel like I probably wouldn't say this in real life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the next time somebody asks me for money, you know what I mean? And they're like, can I have $5 or just, down on my luck? I just need something to eat. I'd be like, no, here, $5. You want another $5 for drugs? Like, what do you want? Like, I feel like that's like, if we don't get to that point and then say that, like, it's so fucking rude. That's the only reason I wouldn't say that to somebody.
I'm glad you said you wouldn't say that in real life. I realize
that's fucked up. You shouldn't say that shit to people. And please don't go saying that to people.
The point of having that ability to do so.
No, not just having the resources to give people $10, Mitch. Damn, but like,
oh wow, yeah, right. I wasn't speaking on that example. You're so right. It's like, damn. Logan's like, damn. Nigga, how you gonna make me sound that broke on the cash?
Yeah,
bro?
like, damn.
My fault. I didn't mean like that.
That's not what I meant. What I meant was that like people assume that this person is asking for money for their drugs, and it's like maybe. But they also smell like piss. Like what the fuck? Like, what is your problem with it? You know what I mean? Like, how many drugs can they buy? They buy enough, like, it's like they're not Pablo Escobar.
This can get them 2 marijuanas.
This is gonna get
one crack cocaine.
And I don't carry cash all the time, which is,
I don't at all anymore. It's crazy, actually.
It's crazy how I don't carry cash because I feel like I carried cash way more in Florida. Maybe it's just like a symptom of my brokenness that I don't have cash on me like that.
I mean, why don't you level up, dog? I'm saying.
I'm trying.
Everything is really Apple Pay these days. All you need is a card. You know what I'm saying? What you doing? Still carrying cash in your pocket. I'm saying, look at you. Yeah. See, ladies, this type of man you need to avoid. You know what I'm saying? Always got his head down. You know what I'm saying? Always trying to carry cash instead of keeping that plastic on him. You know what I'm saying? He probably ain't even got an iPhone with the Apple Pay on it. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to avoid these.
Yeah, you got Samsung.
These low quality men. You know what I'm talking
about? Yeah, for real. Like. So, but like my thing is, like I was saying, is just that like if you're gonna help somebody, you're gonna help them, and like the way we think about people is what keeps us from helping them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like our self-perception is what stops us from helping people in the first place. So like I get the analogy. I get that, like, fucking like, excuse me, like fucking like. Yeah, we're going to give $90 billion to Ukraine when there's people hurting right now, right here. It's like, but do you like those people? Would you give to those people? How worthy do those people have to be before you give to them?
Right. No.
So that's what I'm not trying to get on you. That's not what my thing is. But it's just like the whole language involved is like, even as you watch somebody suffer, there are other people who are suffering just the same, and they don't have a friend as good as you. You know what I mean? That's why I hate the term handout when somebody is like, it's like the fucking Kevin Hart thing. It's like nigga. It's like they on the fucking street. Like,
it's like nah, man.
It's like
they're just trying to take advantage of us. Broken leg, one eye missing.
how much
crawl
advantage
across
can
the
he
floor.
take?
Look at him. He's trying to take advantage. Can barely walk. Man, that's how it kind of sounds like. I know, I get that.
On one hand, right? Fuck. On one hand, we can look at a homeless person on the side of the sidewalk and be like, oh, why don't they get a job? Blah, blah, blah. Whatever toxic bullshit we want to come up with for reasons why we don't want to give them money, you know? Right. But then on the other hand, we live in New York, and as we live in the apartments that we live in, we complain about the fucking rent that like we live with, you know, right? And then with the jobs that we have, barely be able to make the rent sometimes, and then still have the audacity to look at people who do not have jobs and do not have means and be like, why the fuck do you not just get it together? What? In one of the most expensive cities in the world? Like, if that's not the poster child for the conversation of how we don't give a shit about each other. Like that... that just
people don't always come with, and it's people don't understand what it means, and that's why the story of slavery and all this shit that, you know, we deal with on one level, because what you hindered was the ability to pass on like positive ideology behaviors for people to develop. When you come into a country and like destabilize it, you also ruin those people's ability to pass on anything that's positive to the next. Now it's instability they're dealing with, and you develop maybe poor habits. Maybe you're homeless and now you're trying to get your life together. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's like people be so quick to judge rather than seeing what they can do to help. And we don't live in an environment where it's easy to help people. We don't seem to want to live in that environment because we have trust issues and stuff like that.
We don't want to live in that environment. Yes, you said it right.
And it's just like, it's horrible. It's atrocious, man. And I completely agree with what you were saying in terms of like, who do you value? Because it's like, damn, and that's the problem. And that's why racism's so annoying. That's why classism's so annoying. That's why prejudice is horrible. Because it's like, we're all human beings. We're supposed to value our own lives and then value the lives of those around us. Point blank, period. Do our best to create an environment that's best for us all. Of course, that's a give and take, you know what I'm saying, due to how people are, and everybody doesn't agree on everything. Not everybody likes the same thing, you know what I'm saying? But then we should be committing to working out how best to serve people without really fucking each other over.
I don't want to live in... I was talking about money today with one of my friends, and they were like, you know, well, how much money do you want to make? You know? And I said, they're like, I think they meant like a year, but like, they was like, how much money would you like to make into like reasonably, in your head, reasonably till you're good? And I said 10 million. You know what I mean? And like without hesitation, because that's been like the number in my head for whatever weird reason, you know? Like that's my number. And he's like, okay, what's your number, but not pie in the sky? You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck? You know? Like, like if that's my number, that's my number. You know what I mean? And like, I said that because like, and I explained to them that like, that's not to me a lot, because to me that is just getting by because of the things I want to do with that money. You know what I mean? I don't want to ever be in a position where I'm good, but the people... You good?
Yeah.
No, I thought we dropped out of the feed or something. No. But like, no, because you look scared. Anyways, I don't want to ever be in a position where I'm good. I got money. But the people around me don't got it.
And are suffering. That'd be strange.
Right. And I'm just good for myself, you know? And that might have been like a broke boy answer just on the magnitude of that maybe 10 million itself would not be enough. But it'd be something, you know? And I'll tell you if it's enough when I get there and I find out that maybe I can't take care of the people that I want to take care of with that number. You know what I mean?
10 million wasn't enough.
But like, if it's me putting it out there, then I'd rather, like me, I can live on minimal. I know it because I've done it. I've been there.
Right.
Right. But in reality, like, I don't want to ever be in a position where anyone has to, especially if I know you. You know what I mean? That's just fucked up to me.
It is, because it is just fucked up.
Like, I don't think about like making money for my children. I think about what money I'm going to have held over for my grandchildren. You know what I mean? Because anybody can give their kids money, but like, are they really good if they can spend it up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, we have to be able to think beyond ourselves in that kind of way. Not that you have to have like a whole dynasty and everybody needs it. Like, I'm not like the Kevin Samuels of wealth here. That's not what I'm trying to promote or be like Gary Vee or whatever. But like, what I'm trying to say is that when you think of the concept of taking care of yourself, like, it should go beyond that. You know what I mean? Like, it can be hard sometimes to just take care of one person, but the reasons why you want to take care of another person should go beyond just you. It should just go beyond just you, and not just like for the sake of your own ego or charity or whatever, but like, it should really, truly, like, you should be anti-suffering.
Right.
Like,
Period.
that's how we get there. Like, what you're saying about like why we don't give money to the people who we got here, that's why. Because we're not anti-suffering.
Yeah, and we should be. Hard body.
Yes.
It shouldn't even be a question in anybody's mind. But we live in a society that's been, conditioned
to think everybody should.
That you should suffer, that you should value things over people. And it's been engineered that way because those in control don't want people to know that what they're doing is fucked up. This is normal. This is the ordinary. Why wouldn't you, slave over a job that pays you barely enough to survive so that some, CEO at the top can buy an extra yacht?
That's one of the most exploitative like things that like jobs do. And like, the people who promote that the most are like fucking managers who should know better. Like, they act like because they worked at the company for a certain amount of time that you should also work the equal amount of time to get like at least half of what they got. And it's fucked up, and it makes no sense, because like, a lot of the time, the same people, like, if you went dollar for dollar, if like you just asked for more money, like, you might actually get it. So it has nothing to do with, a lot of the time, the amount of work you put in or any of that. Sometimes it just has to do with audacity. Sometimes it just has to do with your pitch. Sometimes it has to do with your like specific experience or whatever. Like, it has to do with so many factors that don't just have to do at work. Like, and so like, when they're like, oh yeah, you stay here, keep your head down, do this and do that, just work real hard. That's one of the things I rail against the most, is like, is bullshit, And like, that's not to tell anybody not to work. That's not to tell you that, like,
that's not the point.
If you need the job, don't take the job.
Absolutely not.
Definitely. Like, feed yourself. You know what I mean?
Just understand you deserve better.
Definitely.
Please understand. We all do what we have to do. The point isn't to shame you for doing what you have to do. That's what's always the annoying part. The point isn't to say, oh, what's wrong with being like a plumber, which isn't even a bad job in the first place. What's wrong with being like a server, making shitty, amount of money? It's like nothing if that's what you need to do. Or if for whatever reason that's what you're comfortable with. The fact is, you need to understand that you deserved better.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to always understand you deserve better. You deserve the best. You are a priceless fucking miracle walking the planet. We deserve the best that is possible. Now, maybe realistically, due to issues that we're dealing with from certain groups or people, which we should deal with better, like realistically, maybe that won't be the case. That doesn't mean that changes, though.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that ever changed. You still deserve better. You still deserve the best. It just so happens you're not in a position to put yourself there yet.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's what we should work towards. That's all I got to say, man.
No, I agree. I agree with everything you have to say.
You trying to get out of here?
Yeah. Huh? Well,
no. It sounded like it. You was like, and I was like, you good, bro?
No, I was just thinking. I was thinking about what you were saying. I was just thinking about the whole thing.
Oh, I mean,
no, I'm having
man.
a whole fucking experience about like these type of topics because like they do like kind of hit me a little bit when I think about them because like
I hope so.
No, it hurts. To be honest, like it hurts that like people have to go through so much and that suffering isn't just enough for people who aren't. You know what I mean? Like I have not been the person I don't know if I have ever been this person, but I try not to be this person that like feels that like, oh, well, this is what I had to go through. So you got to go through it too. You know what I mean? It's like, if that's completely and wholly unnecessary, there's no reason for you to do it. Like to me, like even if like I'm at a job and I'm training somebody, I'm not training you to do the hardest shit. You know what I mean? If I literally figure out the shortcut of how to do it and it's just as effective as doing like the 12,000 steps to get it done, I'm going to teach you the shortcut because I want you to do well. Like I'm not looking for you to. What is the value in being the first person to learn how to jump over a hurdle and watching everybody else slam into that same hurdle? Like, what is the value in that? Like, I don't understand that. Like, why? Why do I need to do that? Why do I need to watch you fail 1,000 times? Like, if it doesn't, not like fail in the way that you actually learn something, but if it doesn't actually, like, if I look back on it and I say, damn, I could have been doing it like this the whole time. Like, what is the value? And me not just telling you how to fucking do it.
For sick people, you know, I guess a joke. I guess it's entertaining. I guess I can feel superior. Maybe. And then I can tell myself I'm better than you. That's how sick people think.
Maybe, yeah.
But for the ordinary person, I couldn't tell you.
I wouldn't say for the ordinary person. I don't think it's an outlier thing. Because there's plenty of people who think that, like, you know, you have to, like, really suffer to get something out of life. That's valid. You know what I mean? True. And that's just not how life, like, the amount of successful people that you watch every day, like, think about, like, how much suffering they actually went through to get to where they are. Like, think about that.
Well, it depends on who we're talking about.
Let's take Elon Musk since he's so popular on this podcast.
That's
his family own like emerald mines in like South America, and now he's the richest person in the world. Who the fuck could have saw that coming? You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
right?
Like, if your idea is that you just have to work and work and work your fingers to the bone, and that will end to your payoff. Like how much suffering did Elon Musk have to have? Like,
not too much, I don't think.
What was it? Just the loss of his hairline and then getting it back? Like bit. That's the grand story? Like,
a little bit. I was stressed, Mom and Dad. I wasn't pushing them at the mines hard enough like you, so I felt inferior.
Yeah, like,
but now I'm a billionaire tech head, and I got plugs.
I got my plugs. Like, we have to be a little bit more realistic about work and value, and I feel like that's what this show is basically about. It's like the fucking, what's the value of shit? You know what I mean?
And you should know that valuing yourself, you are the, I won't say it. I sound like a broken record when I say it. And it's crazy to me. The reason I say it is because people really don't believe it. Because because we kill each other so much, we do each other wrong so much, people really don't believe that they are the most valuable thing on the fucking planet. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy that a living, breathing thing that's able to consciously understand the concept of survival is about trying to make your circumstances the best that they can so, you know, you can live, would somehow value other things or inanimate objects more than themselves.
You know what's even crazier thought when you talk to people is that like you actually value them.
Yeah.
Like
that's the crazier one.
They expect that you would value the things over them. They expect like, you know, if you're asking them for such and such, like what is your angle? Like how are you trying to get over on me? Because it is common to like take advantage of people. It's common to be taken advantage of.
Right.
You know, and like the only way really to stop that is to just stop doing it. And it's fucked up because that doesn't help anybody to say. Like it doesn't help me. It doesn't help you. Like it's just a cliche at this point. It's not, but and that's the double-edged sword about it is that it's a cliche, but that's what it is, you know? Anyway, let's get out of here.
Please.
Yeah. I'm done depressing everybody. Mitch, do you have anything you want to say to the people?
This follow-up brief is brought to you by
Jesus
the
Christ.
Letter N.
Wait, what? Holy shit.
No, just that, you know, let's take people. Obviously, I think something that stood out to me is taking people seriously, whether it be esports, your countrymen, other countrymen, you know, the poor, valuing yourself, like take people serious. People are priceless. We are I don't know what I'm wanting to say right now, but we are the like most important thing on the planet. Like there is nothing else that functions in the capacity we do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So let's value ourselves, respect ourselves, and help each other.
Okay.
That's all.
I don't know. This episode didn't make me sad. Just made me like fucking kind of emotional.
No, I get you. Yeah, it's like things hit sometimes.
Yeah, this one hit me a little different because like there's things that in it that I didn't feel like I was gonna get so riled up about, and like maybe that's the point, you know? Like that's like I was saying earlier. It's like this shit is just not just for conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, absolutely.
And last week we had a very fun episode, and I don't know, get you some boys that could do both, but like I guess like the shit we chose to talk about, it's like it's deep shit. And I feel like the reason and the purpose of the show is to get into some shit. But I don't want to do that in a trivial way. I'm not coming in here like, thank God we don't have the type of audiences like, why didn't you talk about the Buffalo shooter? It's like,
well,
I mean, thank God we don't, because like that's not the point. Like, what do you want me to say about the Buffalo shooter? That's what I want to know.
Right.
Like, do you just want to talk about like how, you know, he's a racist and he killed a bunch of black people? We all know that. So what is it you want me to say? Because it's not that those people's lives don't matter, but those people's lives matter. So it doesn't mean I just turn them into content for my little podcast bullshit. You know?
Right.
Like that's not enough. That's just not enough. It's not enough for me, and it shouldn't be enough for you. So that's really what I got. I think about this thing about like the high value shit, and it's like, I said what I said, take it or leave it. You know, if you think me and Mitch are just a bunch of broke boys, and what the fuck do we know about being high value men? It's like, I can't.
Ain't nothing I can do about that.
I can't do no shit about that.
Ain't nothing I can do about that.
I really don't want to know you. Like, so don't come talk to me. I don't want to know anybody who thinks that way. Like, I don't want to talk to you about it. Like, I really don't. You know, you probably would catch me in an argument about it, because, like, you know, if you're annoying enough, I probably would argue with you. But like, I don't want to argue with somebody who can't just see that people just have value because they're people, and like Mitch said, they're wonderful. You know what I mean? And yeah, not everybody's wonderful, but that doesn't mean that they just fucking deserve to never have any type of joy or
At
love.
all. Yeah.
Like, you sound like the people that are like, why are they buying lobster with food stamps? Because lobster's good. Shut the fuck up.
Fuck up. Yo, shit, yo. Like,
the fuck do you mean? It's like, god damn, do people have to suffer all the time? Anyways, starting the show just the way I ended it. If you like the show, share the show. If the show depressed you thoroughly,
share the show.
Share the show.
This isn't rocket science, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, share the show.
If the show, share the show.
Yeah, share the show. Like, if your friends are like, hey, you heard any good podcasts? Share this show with them and be like, oh yeah, the Milk and Toast podcast. I do love this show. I don't have any solutions for you either, so sorry. Maybe I'll come up with some. That's what I do like about the show. I like to think about the things we talk about even after the show. So check with me in like a week or so. Oh man, I want to say rest in peace to Ray Liotta. Damn.
Oh word, I forgot. Yeah.
Yo, that.
Shout out to the gangster.
I heard that yesterday. I was like, what? Like, the end of my workday, I was like, I don't need this. Like,
I don't need this right now. I feel that.
Oh my god! And then like the cinema pages that like play like Goodfellas, like in his like, oh my god! Like, no wonder I woke up late today. I was so bereft. That sucks. I hate that. That's really bad. Like, I love Ray Liotta. Like, that's fucked up. But yeah, rest in peace to Ray Liotta. Rest in peace to all the people we lost in Buffalo and Texas over the last couple of weeks. Because that also is hard. That's just fucking life. You know what I mean? Just fucking life. Life. Right. I hope everybody has a slamming Memorial Day weekend. Be safe out there, y'all. Don't do anything like too wild. Like, keep it together. I want to hear about y'all in the news and locked up and shit. Like, get wild, but not that wild. You know what I mean? All right, let's get out of here. Say bye to the people, Mitch.
Goodbye.
You sound like one of those bell tower clocks. This has been episode 52 of the Milk and Toast podcast. I've been your host, Logan, and